This is Midnight Suns. Do I have to keep on qualifying it by saying that this is Marvel's Midnight Suns? How many Midnight Suns can there possibly be? Holy shit, there's loads! This is Marvel's Midnight Suns. Because God forbid anyone gets this confused with a South Korean musical. By all accounts, Midnight Suns was a critical success, and by all accounts, Midnight Suns was a commercial failure. Apparently, everyone who played it said it was fantastic. Unfortunately, not very many people played it. I find that remarkable. I mean, I didn't buy it at release, but then again, I'd already made the decision to focus on smaller, cheaper indie type stuff because they tend to be more interesting, it saves me money, and wait for price drops on the bigger stuff. Well, guess what? Midnight Suns was having price drops just 1 month after its release. 1 month! This is the Legendary Edition. It's supposed to be something like 70-80 quid. I got it for 50. And yes, the season pass is included, with all 4 extra characters and all their missions. The story boils down to this. Nazi bad guys Hydra resurrect the demon Lilith because they're fucking demented. Assemble the Avengers, I mean the Midnight Suns, to stop her. Look, you've got so many Avengers on the roster. The only difference is they seem to operate out of a spooky-ass cathedral in the middle of a magical pocket dimension. Or something.
Prophecy or not, you overstep. Challenging the Sorcerer Supreme.
Be silent. Be still.
What just happened?
Ow! Be gone. No! A fellow daughter of Transia. You remind me of my own beloved.
In virtute vishanti. Well done, Miss Maximoff. Your unique energy surprised her. Whoa! I'm fine.
What? I'm fine. You get a character of your very own, who has a very limited set of options, at least at first, in the character creator. Yeah, don't go expecting great things from this right away. Each day follows a pattern. You spend the daytime preparing, analysing stuff you've found, changing loadouts, training in the yard. You then activate a mission from the mirror table and deploy into the field to kick Hydra's ass. Afterwards, you return to the Abbey for downtime. Relax, hang out, talk, chill.
You know what they say, all work and no play is how we ended up with Ultron. Come on, you should hang out.
Combat is interesting. Each hero has a selection of cards that define their moves. At the start of your turn, you are randomly dealt a selection of those cards to your hand. Some cards attack directly, some generate support effects, and others are heroic action cards. You think of those as kind of like ultimates.
Exactly what I needed. Get some.
I am impressed.
I've been waiting. Shot.
Now you could complain, I want that card to drop, but the real skill is in how you adapt to the situation. Yelping about needing certain cards is just of a lack of imagination on your part, or poor deck building. Either way, it's your fault.
Maybe you should teach me that one.
To use heroic or environmental attacks, yeah, you can do those as well, you must spend heroic points. You can generate these by playing certain other cards in your hand.
I did not know you were capable of leading survivors.
And at first, it's tricky trying to juggle these options. Certain characters are better at dealing high damage to single enemies, others striking multiple enemies in a single pass. The game says some characters are better at generating heroic points than others, but in my experience, that just means you have too few point generating cards on hand. Battles usually follow a predictable pattern, usually. Knock out all enemies that appear, plus any other objectives, such as retrieve an artifact, or stop that helicopter from taking off within a certain number of turns.
I am impressed.
You've had this coming.
What sort of?
You've grounded the helicopter. Excellent. Now you'll need to clean up the rest of Hydra's forces.
Research is vital. One of the earliest upgrades is the Foundry. Now, at first, Gamma Coils, as they're known, give you 3 card options and you get to choose 1 to add to your collection. Yeah, 1 of 3. The Foundry upgrade, however, gives you 4 options and lets you choose and keep 2. That allows you to grow your card collection much quicker. Another vital upgrade for you out in the field? The Shove.
Better to have it or not need it, right?
The Shove doesn't do any damage. What it can do is knock back an enemy into an obstacle to damage them. Or into other enemies, damaging both of them. Or into explosives, which, well, you can probably guess. And because it's an extension of a normal move command, it doesn't use a regular card play. It's like a free extra attack, if you use it right.
You are a force be reckoned with.
Everyone has attack, support and heroic cards, but team members still have different focuses. For example, Iron Man deals more damage when you have more of his cards in your hand. Plus, redrawing his cards usually upgrades them in some way, thus the rest of the team tends to support him as the main damage dealer. Strange has cards which become more powerful the more heroic points you have on hand, encouraging you to collect rather than spend them. Plus, he is more of a support character, assisting the rest of the team by bending the rules of battle. Nico has powerful cards with additional status effects, but her cards often have the keyword roulette, which randomises some of her effects and damage levels. It makes her a bit unreliable, but good in support and, with luck, a real heavy hitter. And even though you have limited card plays per turn, it is sometimes ridiculous how many moves you can actually make. Fast cards refund a play, some cards don't cost a play, some cards draw other cards. The shove costs a move instead, and environmental attacks cost heroic points.
Leave some for the rest of us.
You may think this all sounds very complicated and, well, it is, but the game doesn't drop all of the characters on you at once, and it's very, very slow, at least initially, to dish out the extra cards. This is a slow burner of a game, meaning by the time you've earned several epic and legendary cards, and you're working with a large roster, you've also tuned each team member's deck to suit your needs, and you're familiar with how each character performs in a fight. In short, you'll get used to it. Or go fucking mental trying to keep it all straight in your head, one or the other. But even superheroes need downtime. Actually, I think they spend more time at the Abbey than they do in the field.
Why do you have so much money?
Is a reconstituted revenant about to hit me up for cash, or...?
I mean, what is the point of having so much?
Oh, you aren't kidding. Concept of billionaire didn't exist back then, huh? What's the best way to put this? Money isn't everything, but it's a lot of things. It gets you access and greases the wheels. If you want to make big changes, money is a necessary evil. There has to be a next time. Let's do it soon, boss.
The Abbey is your base of operations. Everyone has a room, yours is the biggest. Strike up conversations with your teammates. Take them out on dates, hangouts. Answer text messages. Interact on social media. Join clubs. Give compliments. Help with their problems. These people definitely have too much free time. Actually, no you don't, because the rest of your time will be taken up by gamma coil analysis, Agatha's cauldron, item forging, artifact analysis, training upgrades, card creation, forge upgrades, intel analysis, hero ops. Jeez, is this game gonna stop giving me more things to do? No. The grounds around the Abbey are just as packed, hiding, as they do, many collectibles and secrets. Arcane knowledge, arcane keys, arcane chests, blood gates, paintings, reagents, tarot cards, essence, apothecary vessels, journal entries, interrogation records, a whole library of alchemy books, and not forgetting all the mysteries waiting to be solved. Holy shit! Fortunately, if there is something major for you to do, a marker is added to the HUD or map, or both, reminding you to do it. It sounds strange, but while you feel overwhelmed by the number of features as they are given out, you don't feel overwhelmed by the features themselves. In fact, there were times while I was searching that I started to wonder, which is the main part of this game? The grounds or the combat.
Spell that brought you back to life.
You know, you're pretty good at this.
Time to get serious.
Maybe, I don't know, you should have asked Lilith for cooler outfits? Try this on for size. My Greek mythology is a little rusty, but didn't the Hydra originally have 9 heads?
One of the things that is a bit of a pain to collect, as if there aren't enough of those already, are the reagents. The plants. At first they'll be all over the place, and then nothing. There's a lot of confusion online among the player base as to what causes reagents to respawn. There are only 2 things everyone agrees on. First, reagents always spawn when it rains, though no one can agree on what causes it to rain. Second, the Wondergore Everbloom is, despite what the game leads you to believe, the only plant that appears in response to the time of day and lunar phase. Night time during a waxing moon. Grab them when you can. They kind of look like a mini Christmas tree.
I document the supernatural creatures I come into contact with. One day, I'd like to publish a book on the subject. I'm writing a query letter to publishers. How does this introduction sound? The dark occult corridors of the world are filled with monstrous creatures. From Atlanteans to were-roosters to the Taker of Heads, I, Blade the Vampire Hunter, have hunted them all, and many others.
Did you say were-roosters?
Don't get tripped on them. How does the sentence flow feel? Is it clunky?
I have some thoughts.
You're hung up on the were-roosters.
The roster is quite extensive, but don't panic, because all the other characters level up off of the hunter. Try to think of them as the losers in the 100-meter sprint. Wait for me! Every single thing you do earns you a worthwhile reward. There are no wastes of time here, and because this isn't Persona 5, where you can only do one thing per bloody day, you can clear up everything you have to do in a single evening. Take your time and get everything done. And yes, the frame rate can, extremely rarely, struggle to keep up, and it's almost always when Iron Man unleashes his missile strike. Apparently this display of power uses too many projectiles and flashy effects for the console. How exactly is this PS5 game in my PS5 struggling to cope with this?
Saving this for a special occasion. Sure, but let's see you do that without the suit.
There are nice little touches. Customizing your room, changing your own and your teammates' outfits. The outfits can even be set to randomize every time you wake up. That's actually pretty cool. Oh, and don't bother with that bullshit currency I mentioned. It's only used for certain locked cosmetics. And if you've got the season pass, you've already got them all. Well, apart from that one you have to sign up for an account to get. I'm not signing up for an account just to get one bloody outfit. And last but not least, the DLC.
Is this about your very scary client again?
When he finds out how royally I botched this mission, or worse, when he finds me, I'll be...
Deader pool?
There it is! You go, new guy. And by that, I still obviously mean the new fully customizable...
Come back with us to the Abbey.
No.
The magical wards will protect you.
No. Hell no.
You can hide there. Help us track down Sin.
No!
Fight off the vampire infestation.
If you insist. Look, Ma, I'm gonna be DLC.
By this point, all 4 DLC items have been released, adding 4 new characters to the roster. Deadpool, Venom, Morbius, and Storm. Their missions open up on the war table as you play the campaign. And their mission chains feed into each other. And they don't end in 5 seconds flat either. I don't often say this, but this DLC is worth picking up. Especially with the Legendary Edition's price drop.
Drop!
That was a quarter of my power.
The only reason it seems that this game did badly was its release window. The characters are exactly that. They are well written and have extensive dialogue. So extensive, there are times I've wanted to keep walking on, but someone's kept on talking for 3 minutes and I didn't want to miss the conversation. The combat is card focused, but has clearly been designed very carefully, allowing the full range of character and team abilities to be customised and leveraged to great effect if you're willing to put the work into moulding it. In an industry where innovation is sadly rare among the big publishers, Midnight Suns deserved better. Firaxis, the developer, hopes the game will have legs in the future, but for now, this sends the message that good is not necessarily rewarded with success. That's not the kind of message I want the video game industry to receive. It is a good game. I wasn't sure about the card system in the battles to start with. It felt a little bit awkward, constantly relying on random card drops. But you get used to it after a while, and it did win me over after a few hours. I grew to like it. Remember, you've only got 3 characters in a team, so you're not overwhelmed by a dozen team members' abilities all the time. I like it. Well, that'll do for me for this video. What did you think of the video? Leave a like or dislike down below. What did you think of Marvel's Midnight Suns? What did you think of it? Leave a comment down below. And for those of you who can't get enough of my dulcet tones, you can always subscribe, ring the bell for notification, because apparently that's a thing. Or if you want to inflict me on someone else, you can always share instead. See you next time.